Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends for a very special feeding episode. Today we're going to be feeding my first Warmaster. And my first Warmaster is, of course, the last Warmaster. This is Ragnarok. And Ragnarok comes from a lot of different books and has a lot of open ruin slots. Yes, I actually did luck out 2 days in a row. This one is far more important because I would have been spending them probably immediately. Anyway, this is the Warmaster Ragnarok. He is, of course, special. He doesn't have any elements assigned to him, does he? Except, of course, for the skills that he has. It's my understanding that he borrows skills from the other Warmasters, but only single target versions to a degree. Now, I actually have seen a lot of his skills because after I did a little thing on him in one of the regular episodes, I went to look to see, is that all he has? Because the selection they used wasn't really good, even though some of them were very good. But he does have a lot of good skills, and choosing them is going to be difficult. So he's in the Spirits book, the Underworld book, the Undead book, the Evil Legions book, the Families book, he's very into family apparently, and the Exclusive book, which frankly I don't think they'd ever do in a war or something like that. And as I said, he's got lots of open ruin slots, so let's not wait. Alright, so we're going to put him, of course, over here because I moved our little confused robot friend out because we don't want Ragnarok to have to wait too long. It's a short walk. Okay, I think they skipped on the animation there a bit, but you know what? I'm going to be okay with that. It's just I'm going to have a lot of trouble with that cover picture, I think, because half his head was missing. Alright, so let's go with him. Alright, this is Dave? You know, I'm just twisted enough that I might just keep that. Yeah, I might. I mean, I might keep that. Okay, so this is Dave, the Warmaster Ragnarok. He is, of course, a Warmaster, as well as being a legendary. He is not associated with an element, other than special damage, though he can use them. Alright, so his trait, of course, is True Vision, Anticipation, Harden, and he gives the caster status of being able to use one of the other Warmaster's random abilities for his team to protect them. So you don't know which one's going to be until he comes, right? But for himself, he has True Vision, basically means he's not going to miss. He has really good precision. And of course, Anticipation means if some multi-turn individual tries to do that, he's going to get in there first. Alright, so let's take a look at the stats. His strength is really, really good. His life, very chunky indeed. Speed, very good. Of course, the Warmasters do have really good stuff going for them. Alright, so let's take a look at some skills. The beginning of the end. Deals low physical damage to one enemy, and Evil Eye. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy. And of course that skill that happened really quick and we couldn't really see it very well. 3 Horsemen. Removes all negative status effects from all allies. Applies evasion, double damage, and positive effects protection to all allies. Which means, of course, no one's going to be able to remove positive status effects. I don't know if that just applies to these or any positive status effects the other side has. I'm going to have to test with that. It's a little hard to do in the adventure map because there's so few things will actually remove positive status effects. And the AI isn't really smart enough to do that when they do have it. But we'll have to see. Maybe we can come up with something. Ragnarok has proclaimed himself the one true Warmaster after possessing Sharazar and tricking each and every one of them all into saying a spell to give him some of their best skills. It's going to be hard to stop a Warmaster with skills of all the other Warmasters. Well, we don't want him stopped. We want him victorious. Right, Dave? He's got his eye on us. I don't know, maybe I name him Sauron, right? Because of the Eye of Sauron or something like that. But I'm kind of getting happy with Dave. We're going to have to see about that. Because Sauron is definitely an option. Alright, so let's feed him up to his final evolution at level 4. There he is. Yeah, he was floating a little bit too high. It's going to be a bit of a problem for me, I think. Yeah, I mean, if they pushed him down a little bit, I think that would have worked a little better. But if he wants to float there, that's fine with me. So whatever floats his boat. All right, so let's begin with the big thing. And of course, this is going to be kind of torturous because his skills are basically all great. Choosing them is going to be a little bit hard. And there's probably going to be, in the testing part, probably going to be testing stuff back and forth, seeing which kind of combo might work. Of course, you know, you can always swap them just before you do a fight or need them because he's got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So let's begin. Let's begin at level 7. World of Pain. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy. Applies 2 random torture skills to one enemy. That's a pretty good place to start, right? Believe me, I think it gets better from here. Alright, so let's continue. To level 10. They are weak. Removes positive status effects from one enemy. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy. And that is a 0 cooldown. So he's going to hit somebody, take all their positive stuff off, and then do damage. So, if you got shielding or regeneration, that's pretty good. But of course, we're not going to be keeping that one. No, we're not. Alright, let's continue to level 15. And more skills. Oop. There we go. Death Door. Removes 75% of total life from one enemy. 1 round cooldown. That is a lot of stamina, but you know what? That sounds pretty darn good. I think I'm going to put that there. It's going to be very hard to get rid of that one. So I think that's kind of a great one, especially if you have somebody who's got an enormous thing to him. I don't know if that can be resisted. Could you use that on another Warmaster? Kind of interesting. We'll have to see about that. Let's continue to level 20. Barbarian's War Cry. Deals moderate thunder damage to one enemy, applies shock to one enemy, gives 1 extra turn to itself. Oh, that's going to be very hard to get rid of, right? Well, I mean, this is a good one here, but I think this one here is pretty darn nice too. Those extra turns are really good, especially considering they're going to let you reduce the cooldowns on your other skills. So, yeah, that's pretty good right there. It's going to be hard to get rid of that one too, but he's got so many good stuff. Alright, let's continue to level 25. More skills. Archangel's Blessing. Deals moderate light damage to one enemy, heals all allies by 30%, removes all negative status effects from all allies, applies evasion to itself. So this is if you want to lean towards the supporty part, right? This is very support orientated. It's going to do damage, it's going to heal everybody by 30% and remove negative status effects. And then, of course, give himself evasion so he can't be hit until the next turn. That, I believe, comes from Elvira. Now, Elvira, I believe, makes that a group damage attack. But that's pretty good because that is helping the team. I'm going to throw that on the end. He's got a couple like this. There's another one that also kind of does healing too, and there's going to be a choice. Now, this one, of course, removes the negative status effects and then gives evasion to himself. So we're going to have to keep that in mind, right? Alright, so let's continue to level 30. Mother Nature's Energy. Deals moderate nature damage to one enemy, applies life regeneration and damage mirror to all. Alright, so this is the other healing one I was talking about. Of course, this one doesn't do direct healing like the Archangel Blessing does. This one gives regeneration. Now, over time, this is probably going to heal a lot more because it does do the ticking and stuff over time. The fact that it also gives a damage mirror is very, very interesting. The other one, it gives him evasion. This one is actually going to give, the damage mirror to everybody, but the other one does remove negative status effects, which can be a really big deal. You can't take both of them, that's for sure, but I might just throw that one in the front for the moment. I mean, you could do it if you wanted to go full-on support, right? I mean, that's the thing. If you want to go full-on support, then you could take all of them. You know what? Now that they actually have the skills changing for free, what I would really like to see maybe is to be able to set up little sets for each one. So you can say, okay, I'm just going to hit a button and I'm going to give him this set of skills that he has saved, and that's going to be my support one, or I'm going to make him an attacker or something like that, rather than go in and have to change each one individually. I think now that the changing skills is free, that would be kind of a cool thing to have. All right, so let's continue. Yeah, it's going to be really hard to pick a final set, isn't it? Demon's Flames. Deals heavy fire damage to one enemy, disables trait of one enemy, applies total blind to one. As good as that sounds, I'm probably going to be taking a pass on that one. I mean, that one really is good, but yeah, no, I don't think so. I think I'm going to put a pass on that one because his skills are just that good, really. I mean, if you're going to go with the DPS version of him, you probably take that one. But I mean, he does have a lot of other stuff. Let's just continue. To level 40. And it really wants me to take Demon Flames. Well, you know what? Maybe I should just take it and... because you know what will happen? As soon as I do, Mother Nature's energy is going to pop back up. Well, let me think about... Well, you know what? I'll get back to it. I'm just going to skip. We're just going to say no. We're going to say no. Because I know I'm not going to take that one. Because there's great stuff. All of them are great, really. World of Pain. Oh, that's the one we started with. All right. It looks like I might have to go looking for them, but we got some time here. All right. Level 50. Demon Flames. It just does not want to let that go. It doesn't matter, though. We're just going to let that go. We're probably going to be going to the list and doing changes there, right? Level 55. It really wants me to take one of those. That's the first one, too. Why does it keep pushing that one on me? Okay, and finally, level 60. They are weak. Oh, that was another early one. Right, okay, so let's just go check out the skills. Okay, so this is one that I wasn't getting, right? Grandmaster's Wisdom. Deals heavy magic damage to one enemy, applies curse to one enemy, activates all cooldowns. I would take that one over the fire one. Disabling trait could be very useful, but remember, somebody has to come back and act on that. I mean, if you have, say, one of the mountain ones who has a trait of mountain, like an Oros or even Captain Copperbeard, you could do the disabled trait, but then somebody else has to come by and stun him or freeze him or something else. This one just does everything you want to do, right? First of all, it does heavy magic damage. Then it's going to give curse, which they really have to get rid of. But more importantly, then it's going to activate the cooldowns. So that's really a messed up one right there. I think I have to kind of put that on the first spot for now. If I was going to pick one of these, you got the Mother Nature's energy, and then you have the Archangel's Blessing. Instantly healing by 30% is really useful, especially if it's on a 2-round cooldown. The thing about it is also it removes negative status effects. So if they have a lot of like bleeding and things like that, or even if they're just stunned or something, it'll also do that. And it also gives him evasion, so he's not going to be hit. Of the two of them, I would take this one. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put this one here. Now, I might change my mind. I might very well change my mind. But at the moment, I think that's what we go with. Oh, okay. And then we have some other ones, too. Okay, so this is the one they kept throwing at us. Then we have this one. Deals moderate metal damage to one enemy. Blacksmith Masterpiece. Applies nanovirus to one enemy. Applies skill mirror to allies. Now, skill mirror means it will reflect the skill back, as opposed to damage mirror, which is going to reflect the damage back. I mean, it's really good. It's just not as good as I would like. Skill mirror. See, there's just so many good things going on here. I mean, do I want this? This one means that I can do an attack, and then I can come back and do one of the supporting ones, or I could do this one. That would actually end up killing somebody, I think. It depends on how much damage this does, I suppose. I mean, if you really wanted to make somebody who was full DPS, full damage, you could do that. If you wanted to make somebody who was full support, you could do that as well. I mean, the thing is, if you have the skill mirror going and the damage mirror going, and you have the two heals, yeah, you could be full support. I think I'm going to go with like a little amalgamation of stuff, at least to begin with, to get a feel. All right, this one is going to be very hard to get rid of. You know, when you're just going to remove 75% of total life, this is not like whatever he has left. This is total life. So if he has like 25% damage or more, instant death, right? It's got a 1-round cooldown. Mind you, it's a lot of stamina. It's hard to say, but I mean, I don't think that's something you're going to use a lot of. I like this one. I like this one a lot. I like the curse. I like the activation of the cooldowns. You can just point at one guy and say, you're not doing anything for a while. Pretty darn useful. Pretty darn useful. I like this one, of course. And this one will allow me to use this skill and then use something else. So that's kind of useful. And this, I think this is his best support one. So that's the reason I would go with this. I mean, these skills are all great. You could take these other ones and still make another great character out of them. But I think that that's what I'm going to do for now. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so let's look at his final skills at level 60, I should say. Okay, his strength is ginormous. His life is really good. His speed is really good as well. But obviously the strength is a very big one. When he hits, he's going to be hitting hard. And it's probably going to be hard not to put some strength on him, isn't it? All right, so let's look at the skills that I selected. And of course, there were so many choices, and I could very easily change my mind. Very easily change my mind. All right, we're going to start with Grandmaster's Wisdom. Deals heavy magic damage to one enemy, applies curse to one enemy, activates all cooldowns on enemy. Now, curse is a newish dot, and a torture effect, I should say. And what it does is it does damage, but it does increasing damage. The last tick actually does 40%. So that can be very, very damaging if the other guys don't remove it in time. So that's very good. I have to say, though, the cooldown activation is just so useful to have. All of these are useful to have. A good, solid magic hit, the curse, and the cooldown activation. The last one is really what sells it for me. So I really like being able to activate cooldowns. If you can't do the whole group, you can just point at one guy who's really dangerous and just do him. All right, and then we have this one, Death Door. Removes 75% of total life from one enemy. So in other words, you're just going to take that life away. It's just going to go. Poof, it's gone. And this is a 1-round cooldown, but it does have a very heavy stamina cost to it. If it's damaged already, you might just be killing it outright. This applies to anything. You know, I actually wouldn't mind doing a boss fight with them. You know, I'm probably going to do that. You know, while I'm doing the adventure map, I might just pick a boss. Because I would like to see whether or not that's going to be as efficient as I think it's going to be. Especially if you can turn around and reset its cooldowns, right? All right, and then we have this one. Barbarian's War Cry. Deals moderate thunder damage to one enemy, applies shock to one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. So it's just a moderate thunder hit, but it's going to give shock, which is another torture effect. And then it's going to give him an extra turn so that he can act again. Which means if he's used any of these other skills, you know, with the higher cooldowns. By the way, his cooldowns are no problem at all. This one here is a little heavy, but that does a lot, right? But using this one means it's going to reduce the cooldowns on everything. So he uses this one, then he can use another one immediately. Which means anything he's used already, he's going to get an extra turn taken off of it. So that's really, really very good indeed. And then we have this one. This was the sole support one that I took. And this is Archangel's Blessing. Deals moderate light damage to one enemy, heals all allies by 30%, removes negative status effects from allies, and then applies evasion to himself. So he's going to do moderate light damage. Nothing to write home about, right? But he's going to heal everybody by 30%. He's going to remove negative status effects and then put evasion on himself. So those are all very good things. Very, very supportive. You know, healing is very good. It's instantaneous. The regeneration from the nature one we saw would actually heal more over time. But the thing is, this one removes negative status effects. So this one could be used for a lot of different situations. You know, if the rest of the group is stunned and he isn't, well, he can just remove that. If they have a bunch of dots on them, say they had a fatigue came by and put poison and bleeding on them and are all doing that, and they've taken damage, well, he can just heal them and remove all that, and then make himself, not impossible to hit, but very difficult to hit. So That gets him, lets him sit back and come back again to attack later. And of course, this is again just a 2-round cooldown. A lot of these guys just a 2-round cooldown, which is really very good. And I have no idea whether or not I'm going to stay with this set, but you know what? We're going to test things. We're going to see how things work, and yeah, I can't wait for testing with this guy because he's got so much stuff. In terms of runes, luckily I have them all open. All right, strength. Obviously he's going to be hitting, and it's an important thing to remember that he does have anticipation. So if he runs into something that does extra turns and he does get the extra attack, you want to make sure he can hit, right? So you're definitely going to put at least 1 strength on him. What I'm thinking in terms of is maybe a big old strength. Probably I might try to find the biggest strength that I have, but I also kind of want him to work into the group. So I'd want to put probably my biggest support speed on him too. I might put 2 on him. I guess I'd have to see. If I want to use the Death's Door one, then stamina might end up being an issue. I don't think the other ones really have a stamina issue. 21, no it doesn't. 24, no. Unless you're going to be using this one a lot, just not going to have a stamina problem. I'm thinking at the moment, without having played him, big old strength, maybe a support speed. Maybe I want to put a regular speed in there, but I really don't need to have him go first. In fact, I'm thinking of replacing Big Al in my team with him. We're going to have to see how that works out, but that's kind of what I'm thinking of, because that way he can be very useful, especially with that early buff and the things that he can do as well. If there's a Voltic, then he can just, or a Prince Charmless, he can just take care of that. That would actually be very useful. Anyway, this is the Warmaster Ragnarok. And I finally got him, and I got lucky with the rolls. Certainly I got lucky with the rolls here. I know that a member of my team said they only had 1 open slot, and I was thinking, oh no! And then, of course, ROFL last night, I got 3 open slots, and I'm thinking, oh no, I just got the one that I was going to get, But no, I got him too, which is great. There's probably going to be a testing video in the next couple of days, because I want this guy ranked up, and I also want to play with him. So anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games, because games are fun. See ya.